Hey there, folks. So this is the situation. I'm here in Eugene, Oregon, and it's May Day, or it's May 5th, and the so-called alt-right is here in Eugene, Springfield. They're trying to foment their brand of hatred. And you know, it's essentially come to a point, in my estimation, of civil war in this country. And it's scary for people like me, because my ancestors were, pardon me, it chokes me up, were Russian Jew on my dad's side, on my mom's side, and Native American on my dad's side. So we're no strangers to fascism and ethnic cleansing and the sort of thing that happens when you see this rise of extremism. Anyway, I saw the police responding to this incident that is happening currently in Eugene, and I just wanted to show you guys what's happening. So I pulled over really quickly and tried to orient the cell phone so you can see what's up. But basically, we're going to drive through here and rubberneck for a second. Try not to touch the phone, because you know how that works. Basically, what's going on is that the alt-right is here in Eugene, and they're occupying this bridge over here. Oh, look at that. Law enforcement has it totally shut down. We can't even go up there. Police have it shut down. So we're gonna have to go around. It looks like we have to go around. Okay. All right, guys, I'm gonna park and pop out of the car here so we can go over by the Patriot Prayer and see what they have to say, because as you know, this is a very important topic, and since it's happening right now, I want to take advantage of this opportunity to show you guys what it looks like. This is the rise of fascism. Let's be honest about what's going on. It's the rise of fascism. Okay, here's some of them on the curb here, and there's quite a few more up there occupying the bridge. So we'll just turn around and come back at it, try and give you guys a sense of it. It looked to me like maybe 100 people or so. So security looks like they're responding to these alt-right guys over here on the current corner. So let's just go over there. Let's park. Okay, there's some of them right there. They've got their MAGA hats on and their American flags flying. One of the shirts is an InfoWars shirt, so representing the InfoWars. There's another pack of the guys right here at this black truck in front of me, so you can see a lot of them look like shaved heads. They're wearing all black. No, they're not wearing all black, but some of them are wearing black. Concerned citizens. There's some concerned citizens looking at them that are clearly upset. There's people of color here. You know, this is right next to a Walmart. So Walmart is one of the places that poor people go to shop. You know, a lot of poor people work at Walmart. Anyway, let's park and go take a look at what's going on. Comes the security guard again. It's got to be a bad moment to be a private security guard, because if you're a private security guard, there's no way you're getting paid enough to potentially face armed alt-right. So a lot of folks would mask up at this point. You know, I'm not sure. I think there's bound to be a contingency of, what do you call it, Antifa that will show up at this event, but can see a lot of concerned citizens. This lady over here with her cell phone, she's just an average person, and she is obviously concerned about what's happening here. So law enforcement is responding. There's a huge contingency of them. They have multiple vehicles. There's also fire department vehicles present. So you know, there's emergency vehicles galore, and there's quite a few people up there on the bridge. I'm just gonna jump out here and we'll head over, see what's up over there. Glasses. All right, folks, I appreciate you hanging in there, waiting to see what's going on. So there's multiple groups of people staging all over the place, including people who are clearly concerned about the safety of this community. You know, here in Eugene, we really try not to tolerate this type of hatred and violence. So there's bound to be a significant number of people. There's a family behind me right now that, you know, their family is concerned about this. They should be. So here we have significant contingency of the alt-right people that I was talking about before. They're associated with that black truck. Again, I appreciate you guys tuning in. This is developing scene here. Basically what's going on is there's a group of alt-right people who have taken over this bridge. Here you have a contingency of law enforcement vehicles. There's 4 right here, Springfield police. It's hard to say if they're all Springfield police. Typically at situations like this, you end up having a secondary detachment of law enforcement. So there'll be law enforcement somewhere around over there. And somebody's trying to find me. Yeah, so typically you have a secondary law enforcement deployment that is the shock troops, and they'll have batons, they'll have full riot gear, zip ties, pepper spray, all that sort of thing. And they'll be deployed somewhere over here, maybe a bank or a city building, and they'll just be waiting to jump out in case they have to rush the scene. So that'll be happening over here somewhere, possibly inside of the cordon being set up right now. You can see there's a cordon being set up by fire department. So there's an emergency cordon set up over here. It looks like there's no through traffic. I don't see any through traffic. So there's more either concerned citizens over here or alt-right people. It's hard to tell. And now I'll go ahead and take you guys over to the main scene. I'm sure that's what you actually tuned in to see. So here's the main scene over here. You can see a bunch of "Don't Tread on Me" flags, American flags, people wearing red shirts, red hats. It's you know, it's your typical alt-right event. So, you know, what happens at these sorts of scenes typically, and it's hard to say that that's what's happening now, but you'll have a multi-agency response. So here's the sheriff's department. This guy, let's see, that's the sheriff. Over there in the all black, that's Springfield. And then the guy in the tan, he's Eugene. And my guess is the civilian clothes is either actual civilian or the FBI or what do you call them? I think he might actually just be a civilian. All right. This guy's got a dog. Try not go too close, but you can see what's going on over there. So again, this is what a multi-agency response looks like. This is the Eugene respondent, the Springfield respondent, and then this is the Sheriff's Department from Lane County Sheriff's Department. So you have a multi-agency response. These might be the commanders. So again, the command scene typically will be set up at a further back situation, but it looks like this is the further back situation. They're probably still assembling, if they plan to assemble, shock troops. So let's go up in here. Appreciate the 7 of you who are here tuning in. I'm just going to take a look at what you're saying. Are you guys saying anything? It's hard for me to tell if you're saying anything. So the way this looks like it's happening is that on this side of the road we have patriot, so-called patriots. I prefer to call them the alt-right. So on this side of the road we have the alt-right, and they're wearing Trump shirts and flags. And then on this side we have the response to the alt-right. We'll call them the anti-fascists. So, you know, you have to decide whether you're with the fascists or against the fascists in the Civil War. And that's kind of the situation that we're at right now. So I believe their intention is to get the support of people on the road and just kind of get the people on the street to support or oppose their viewpoint. So again, we have the alt-right, or what I like to consider as the fascists, and then we have the anti-fascists on the other side. And actually we have the green hats here. If you're familiar with the green hats, these people are the National Lawyers Guild. So the National Lawyers Guild is here. You know, the National Lawyers Guild is a group that's associated with preserving civil liberties, preserving civil rights, and you know, it's kind of an interesting scene that's happening here. It's hard to describe it. It's hard to put it in the proper perspective. But this is what I perceive as being the forerunner of a civil war. And on one side you have a group of people who are intolerant of ethnicities like myself, or people who have alternate spiritual beliefs. And then on the other side you have a group of people who are in essence standing up for everyone. Because if you are against fascism, then you're basically for everyone. And in between we have law enforcement. This is relatively telling. If you look over here, you can see that these law enforcement officers are standing with their back to the alt-right, and they're facing towards the anti-fascists. So, you know, if you are looking towards the anti-fascists but turn your back to the fascists, it's a form of tacit acceptance of fascism, is what it is. So I'm trying to stay on the line here. You can see it's mostly Springfield police on this side here, and then Again, I believe that this is the command center down here where they are having a multi-agency response. So the multi-agency response, you have the commanders. Looks like the commanders are possibly moving. And, you know, this, to a certain extent, I don't envy police in this situation, because they have to stand between two groups of people who both believe they're right. And, you know, the people who are against fascism believe that they're right, and the people who are standing in favor of fascism believe that they're right. And, hey, how's it going, man? Good.
Yeah.
Kind of intense scene.
Totally. Absolutely. Yeah. Not really chill. It's not chill at all.
Not super chill. The part that I would say is the most telling is the law enforcement officers standing with their back to the Trump people and facing the anti-fascists. Because if you're standing with your back to the Trump people and facing the anti-fascists, it essentially says you're trying to face down anti-fascism. That's the way I read that body language. But
that's what it is. Really.
Yeah.
There's not really too many different ways to go about it.
Yeah. Well, it kind of bullshit. Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah. But I mean, the way that I see this narrative playing out is the way it's played out in other countries, is that it goes towards civil war. And so you have a group of people who in essence hate-filled and intolerant. And then their hate and intolerance drives them to genocide. And then anybody who isn't deemed a part of whatever their group mind, then they get put on the outside. So it's kind of fucked. I mean, it is 100% fucked. Yeah. But
it's really hard to kind of
it's
keep
pretty
your cool around this thing.
Yeah, it is really hard to keep your cool stuff. So I was just down there, and there's the multi-agency task force, and it's Springfield, Eugene, and the sheriff's department. And what I anticipate is National Guard, or Army, or the rest of the ATF, FBI, those guys. Because typically in situations like this, they bring the whole thing. So, thank you.
Hey, I'm gonna sign you up for food stamps, you motherfucker.
It is hard to keep your cool around it, because what is the logical response? A lot of people say you're supposed to vote fascism out, like we're supposed to go to the ballot box, but Trump lost the popular vote. So if you
do anything against this type of shit, though, like these people still exist no matter who is voting in.
That's a fact. Yeah, it is pretty fucked. Well, on YouTube, there's 9 people watching, which I appreciate you guys tuning in. Sorry to swing the camera around like that. But my channel, I have like a little over 2,000 people subscribed.
Nice.
And because of their views, which I really appreciate you guys watching, then my channel's monetized. So this is technically my job.
Wow. That's an awesome job, though.
I guess, like,
Could be worse. Yeah.
well, for a while there, I was spending more, for the past 3 months, I was spending more money on my cell phone than I was making off my YouTube channel. So in that way, it's like, but at least I'm putting information out there and people are able to lock onto it.
Absolutely. That's knowledge is power.
Yeah. So then I kind of like go through and search out videos and upload them, and then if something like this happens, I try and make my presence, and
Absolutely.
But it's hard. It's hard work.
That is.
Especially like at Standing Rock or Occupy or the Rainbow Gathering or anywhere. Law enforcement shows up, they bring guns, a lot of places they end up shooting it up. Whether it's rubber bullets or tear gas or tasers or
Stay in there.
and even if they don't directly assault, the fact that they have have assaulted so many times creates an atmosphere of,
That's okay.
yeah.
Hey,
Appreciate you guys showing up. Yeah. All right, guys. They're bringing in the group gloves. Kind of an intense scene there for a second. A drummer went in and was drumming right in amongst the Trumpites, and you could see it upset him a little bit. So here's the whole idea of this, is to try and get the attention of the people driving by on the freeway. So when you do one of these events, in essence, what happens is the freeway people are captive audience. They have no choice but to see you. They can try and look away, but it's really clear that something's happening. So that's the stated goal of this event, is to try and get the attention of the people on the freeway so that they see this message being put out by the people of the right wing. And that's their stated goal anyway. You know, a lot of times when you see events like this, the stated goal is one thing, but what's actually happening is it's a dog whistle for the rest of the far right, that they'll be watching this and then they'll come down on one side or the other, and a lot of them, it radicalizes them further and helps them to believe that they have some sort of right to their extremist beliefs. So. So you have a group of the people who I consider to be the good guys, who come across here onto the side of the far right, and they've claimed a portion of the fence for themselves. They've got their signs and everything, and they're chanting and holding space. And you know, these are I believe these are the comrades over here, and they're holding space. And then over here you have the police standing between. So this is what the police look like standing in between. So again, this is as clear of a statement as you really need, is that you have the law enforcement officers with their back to the Trumpites and their face to the anti-fascists. Let's see if we can figure out where the shock troops are, because there's typically shock troops around. Just head down here. This guy looks like he's with the shock troops. He's got his hat and baton, and yeah, he's with the shock troops. They don't look like they're planning to use necessarily gas, but that's where they keep their gas mask. Here is the gas mask canister, container, and then here you have the billy club, suitable for thwacking. These ones look like they're pretty new, so they probably haven't thwacked a lot of people with them yet. But you have the billy club. And then they have the enhanced armor, so he's got shoulder armor here, so he doesn't get hit in the shoulder. Looks like they've foregone the shin guards for the sake of expedience, and also necessarily the heavy-duty foot gear. But okay, here come the rest of the thugs. These are the shock troops I was talking about. Okay, here's the shock troops. You got the unmarked car. It's got the foot rails, but these ones don't have the handrails. This is labeled smoke munition. All right, they just declared it an unlawful assembly. So here again we have the enhanced shoulder gear, but no leg gear. They forewent the knee pads and the shin guards, and only went with they also forewent the elbow guards. They just went with the shoulder guards. So I guess that must be what's attached. So they're gonna set up a formation here, and then once they set up a formation, they'll march in, and then they'll start swinging if they have to. So these people are wearing two forms of body armor right now. So the way this works is that they're essentially heavy infantry. You know, they have the under bullet armor, and then they have the outer bullet armor, and then typically put on shin guards and ankle guards and elbow guards and forearm guards. But I think they had a rush job, so they're just here in the stripped down model. And it looks like beanbag rounds, but the munitions barrel said smoke rounds. So again, their batons look very new. These guys might be green. They might not have thwacked anybody with a stick before. So what they're gonna have to do is form up and march in. Just get a first-hand view of how the goons do their thing. Lining up. Commanding officers going down the line, making sure everybody lines up. Not very good at it yet. There you go, get in line, you donut munch. Okay, yes, there you go, you got two squads. Gonna go right down the middle, push them apart. So down there, you still have the fascists on this side, but now some anti-fascists have joined this side. So you have anti-fascists that are also on the right-hand side. And then you have the anti-fascists on the left. And as you can see, the goon squad here is forming up. Commanding officer is giving directions. You have two squads, and then these guys are the backup. Now, the way this works is that you'll have these goon squads here, but these aren't all of them. There's going to be another deployment of 2 or 3 cars that's still waiting back there in case they have to call them in. But they'll send in the first squads first just to see if they need to call in the backup. So, you know what happened is, until they sent this goon back, then any donuts that were sitting in these vehicles were just fair game for any donut munchers that wanted to come along and grab them. I mean, I'm not saying that this happens all the time, but it happens pretty regularly. Like, smoke munitions, barrel. So, those in there real quick. And then you have the 2 goon squads down there now back to back. So again, there's going to be multiple detachments of these types of squads. They just brought in these 2 squads right now, but they'll bring in the squads from all around if they have to. So this guy's got stripes on his arm. I think that means he has some sort of importance going on. I like your shirt.
Thank you.
Guy's shirt said white trash belong, and then it had a person throwing a white trash in the garbage. So let's go across here real quick. So again, you have 2 squads. That's 8 guys. Plus they have their commanding officers of each squad, and then the commanding officer for the scene. So that's 11 riot police. Plus you have the plainclothes officers who arrived here beforehand. So we'll say on the outside there's about 20 officers. Meanwhile, there's close to 200 people. And, you know, the right wing, I would say, is vastly outnumbered by the people on the left. So... Right as I was counting, I saw an alleged ally from Standing Rock counting, which I think is utterly hilarious that both of us have the same thought at the same time. But that lets you know, in a situation like this, you have to have situational awareness. So as part of situational awareness, I was trying to figure out how many people are on this scene, and my friend is going along counting how many people are on this scene. And you know, my estimation is probably close to 200. There's maybe 50 to 75 on the side of the fascists, and close to 120, 150 on the side of the anti-fascists. So you can see, again, you have the squad of law enforcement, or rather the 2 squads of law enforcement in between. And then you have the anti-fascists on this side, and then on this side you have the fascists. So these people are for ethnic cleansing. They're anti-immigration, xenophobic, homophobic. In essence, they're a hate group. Let's call them what they are. They're a hate group. So you have the hate group on one side, and then on the other side you have the people who are, in essence, in favor of everyone. They don't hate anybody. They believe in being against fascism. And then in between you have law enforcement, who is, I don't even know what to call that. So when you stand in between anti-fascists and fascists, then what does it say about you? You know, in essence, you're defending fascism. You know, if there are any of law enforcement apologists on my feed right now, like, don't defend fascism. Do not defend fascism. That's un-American. We already fought 2 wars over it. Both of the wars, the people who were against fascism won. So if you're pro-fascism, you know, you have to remember, we fought against fascism 2 wars, 2 different wars against fascism. So now, I'm not 100%, but this guy has the look of predatory media. So let's just take a look at him for a second. See this guy? He's wearing a suit, shirt, and kind of banker's clothes. So my guess is that he is with predatory media. Not 100%, but he looks like predatory media. So again, yeah, I would say a far superior number of anti-fascists who are out in the Eugene Springfield area trying to stand up against fascism. And then you have law enforcement standing between the anti-fascists and the fascists. So the two squads rather of shock troops. And then again, these guys are wearing light gear. They don't have the shin guards. They don't have the elbow pads. They don't have neck guards. They're just wearing the upper body shielding. Some of them have knee pads, but mostly they're wearing extremely light gear. So on this side you have again, the fascists. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm not sure if you guys are chatting or how many of you are viewing, but thanks for tuning in. I'm here in Eugene, Oregon, and what's going on is you have a alt-right group this alt-right group organized a rally on this bridge, and I would say there's a small law enforcement presence, only 2 squads, and then you have 2 okay, sorry. You have 2 groups here. You have the pro-Trump people that are basically standing up against, you know, human rights, and then you have the people who are here for human rights. It boils down to that, in my opinion. Let's go back here by the command center for a second. Just reviewing your guys' chat here for a second, see what you're saying. Okay, I'm in Eugene, Oregon for Dennis Stark, Eugene, Oregon. The protesters are basically out here saying that they should have a right to be xenophobic, hate-filled racists. That's what they're protesting. And the anti-fascists, they're out here saying it's not cool to be a xenophobic, hate-filled racist. So, you know, you really shouldn't be a xenophobic, hate-filled racist. It's not cool. I'm trying to be safe. Thanks, we the people. Try and be safe. Thanks for checking in, Karen Mitchell. What side do I support? It doesn't behoove me to support sides. I'm more here to try and understand the nature of what's going on. But, you know, my ancestry were Russian Jew and Native American. So being of Russian Jewish descent, you know, Nazis and hate-filled people, they want to ethnically cleanse my people. Like, they've already shot up synagogues. So I'm against people who shoot up synagogues. If you're with the people who shoot up synagogues, I don't want to be friends. I think you should unsubscribe. All right, try and see what's going on here with the chat. Karen Mitchell totally agrees. Thanks for being there. Bankers Close, yeah. Well, Bankers Close, there's definitely mainstream media here, and that was all. He just looked like mainstream media. So here we have some more of the alt-right. These guys are geared up like they want to fight. He's got grope gloves on. That guy doesn't want to be identified because he's probably has a job, thinks that his job is more important than being a fascist. That one too. Hey, why are you hiding your face? Didn't want to answer. That guy's got a stick. He's carrying a big stick, whacking people. All right, anyway, there goes the alt-right whacking people guys. Sorry. Let's see, what are you guys saying? All right. There's 11 of you watching right now, and just walk back here for a second and see what's happening outside of the cordon area, because like I said, typically there's another goon squad around that has sticks and wants to, you know, whack people. So let's just see if we can spot the other detachment. There's usually, like I said, 2 detachments of shock troops. So we'll just pull back here for a second if you guys are down for watching. If not, I totally get it. This is where they blocked off the road to prevent traffic from being endangered. Here in a minute, when we go back, we'll see if we can spot the plainclothes people, because typically there are plainclothes people who, you know, they're law enforcement, but they're wearing plain clothes. These guys are all wearing matching shirts. They're part of a gang. Check them out. They have wreaths on their shirts. Yeah. They just got out of their little Ford. So that's kind of interesting. Those guys all had golden wreaths on their shirts, like some sort of Roman imperial symbol. So Again, we're just pulling back for a second to see if we can spot another detachment of guys, because like I said, there's typically another detachment right around that is waiting in case they have to rush in. And I doubt that they've determined this scene to be so small that they don't need 2 detachments. Hope you guys aren't needed, but you know, here we have the guys that respond in case it gets disgusting and violent. I appreciate you guys. So hopefully it doesn't get disgusting and violent, but this is an alt-right event, and the alt-right is known for being violent. They're hate-filled, so if it gets horrible and violent, they're ready to rush in and help people. I did not see the street medics over there, but medics were recently targeted in Portland on a anti-fascist level there. So I'm not surprised that the people aren't declaring themselves as medics, because like I said last time in Portland, the alt-right attacked the medics. So totally understand why they would not declare themselves. All right, I don't see another detachment back here, but just go back in here. So again, right now I'm in Springfield, Oregon. This side of the bridge is the Springfield side of the bridge. The other side is Eugene, and we're in Oregon. Again, these are the guys who rush in case it gets violent. Hopefully you guys aren't needed, but you know, in Portland, they attacked the medics. I don't know if you guys saw that article, but the alt-right tracked down the medics afterwards and jumped them.
That's not good.
Yeah, so hopefully, you know, now that I was just up there looking for medics, none of the medics are marked. Normally, if you've done these scenes before, you know the medics mark themselves with red crosses so they don't get shot. But now they're not marking themselves because they don't want to get singled out by the alt-right. That's the level that we're at right now. So anyway, I'm glad you guys are here. Yeah, so you got the medics for the public dollar medics, which is good to see medics around. Scenes like this where you have people who are predisposed towards violence, you always want to have medics around. And you know, those people are trained to respond to trauma and emergency situations. So you guys got ringside seats. Right up in there, they have the guys with all the armor and the tear gas and everything. They brought in the trucks with the armored trucks with all the shock troops on them. And they did declare it an illegal assembly. So after they declared an illegal assembly, if you don't disperse at that point, you're a criminal. So right now, technically, they could arrest all those people for not dispersing.
Oh, they're starting to leave, it looks like.
But anyway, they have declared it an illegal assembly. So that is over there. You guys look like you might still be a legal assembly. You don't look. Otherwise, ICE would be over here, and you'd be. All right. So those weren't. I don't think those were illegals. They look like they were legals. Legal assembly, illegal assembly, illegal assembly, legal assembly. I don't know which assembly is which. Okay, look, here's the underpaid security guard. This guy, he's trying to figure out who's shopping and who's not shopping. So I don't think they're gonna get tow trucks, but I bet that's what they're threatening. They're like, hey, we'll tow you. We'll get a tow truck out. Don't make us get a tow truck out here. Or maybe there was an accident, who knows? And then over there is the Walmart manager. That's the Walmart manager in the kind of business dress all the way on the left there. And then you have the shoppers that are just going about their business. They don't care. They have to buy some stuff at Walmart, so why would they care that there's fascists and anti-fascists? See, that's the part that kind of gets me, is that there's fascists and anti-fascists in the streets of the United States, and people by and large are cool with just hanging out shopping, you know? So I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm just heading back up here to the scene, the developing scene, as they say. So here we have what I believe are the commanders of the scene. So this one, so where's my finger? There it is. This one is the Sheriff's Department for Lane County Sheriff. This one is the Eugene Police Department. And this one is the Springfield Police Department. And then over here we have the battalion commander for the fire department. So this is the command scene, pretty sure. And these guys are the commanders. So if they decide things are going down, these are the people who will decide if things are going down. And is this did they get a permit for this? No permit? Oh, you do not know? Okay. The sheriff just said he did not know if there was a permit for this. Oh, they arrested somebody. It looks like they arrested one of the anti-fascists. Oh, they just brought in the goons, the paddy wagon. Typically what they do in these situations is they ticket the person, drive them away from the scene, and then the person is comes back. And it doesn't always go that way, but a lot of times it does. So, you know, hair loss is one of the signature signs of steroid use. A lot of times people who have no hair, it's because they've been using steroids over a long period of time. So, you know, this looks like potentially de-arrest. A lot of times they just take them a few blocks away and let them go. That does happen a lot, but all right, they're putting the person into the paddy wagon, and these people don't want that person to be arrested. So it looks like they're trying to block this law enforcement vehicle. And now this officer is asking him to leave. He's asking him to go.
Let her go. Let her go. Let her go. Let her go. Let her go. Let her go. Let her go. Let her go. Let her go. Let her go. Let her go. Let her go. Let her go.
Now this is the type of situation where they have to bring in the secondary squads, because they only have the one or the two squads standing in between right now. So when you have only two squads standing in between, okay. So typically they have to bring in another squad, but see if they can negotiate. I'm not going over there. I don't want any part of it. All right, so they extracted their prisoner. I'm not sure how the prisoner ended up being taken, but these guys are just doing their job. Sadly, right now their job is protecting fascists, but what can you do? All right, he did not put the evidence into a bag. He just put it in the back of his vehicle. All right, I understand. You got a scene developing. I understand. That man has had a lot of donuts this lifetime. All right. So again, for the folks who are just tuning in, on this side we have what I will refer to as the alt-right. These are the people who believe in Trump. They support sort of the Trump agenda, which is, you know, that's part of what it means to be American right now, is support the Trump agenda. So that's what they're doing. And a lot of American flags, don't tread on me. We have some mega hats and, you know, very patriotic people, very patriotic people. And then, you okay? So this woman is pro-choice Democrat, not alt-right. So anyway, there's people of all political stripes here, and they're very patriotic. They love their country. And then you have over here the people who are kind of, they're anti-Trump. You know, they don't believe in xenophobia. They don't believe in hatred or ethnic cleansing. These are the people who, in essence, they're out here standing for everyday people. You know, they're more the people who I consider comrades. You know, they're out here standing for, you know, the rights of whether it's immigrants or gay people or people of color or people of different religious beliefs. You know, these are the people who are standing up for all freedom, not just the freedom of some. So more or less, you know, the people I believe on this side are the people standing up for all freedom, and then the people on the other side are standing for only selective freedom. So the freedom that they're standing for is like, they don't stand for immigrants' freedom, they don't stand for the rights of gay people or women's rights, they don't stand for teachers' rights or the rights of students. In essence, these are the people who are advocating for, you know, violence and extremism. And, you know, I don't know how to put it other than that. Like, on this side, you have people who really, they're extremists. So. So I still haven't quite figured out where the plainclothes are, but there's always plainclothes guys in the crowd. So let's go through and look for the plainclothes here for a minute. So when you are looking for a plainclothes officer, one thing that distinguishes them is that they're wearing a weapon, and another thing that distinguishes a plainclothes officer is that they're wearing armor. So, you know, it's not safe for an officer to be in a situation like this without armor and without a weapon. So then, you know, then they have to have armor and a weapon. It's for their safety. At the end of the day, it's for their safety. So, so we'll just go back in here for a second and see if we can spot the guys with armor and a weapon. See what you guys are saying. Everyone is on this particular overpass because a alt-right member organized this rally. That's why everyone's here. I would have to say that one side is in favor of everybody and the other side is only in selective favor. They're only in favor of the few. Well, on the other side, I see a flag that's a Cascadian flag and a flag that is a rainbow flag. And then I see a African Black Panthers Party flag. Oh yeah, not all cops. Okay, yeah. Yeah, those people in masks are definitely here for violence. I'll go back over there. When I do, you'll see they're wearing weighted gloves. So when you wear weighted gloves like that, it's for punching. They're basically wearing blackjack gloves for punching people. Just reading your guys' comments here. I have a high level of skepticism this will be reported nationally unless it turns violent. Oh look, there's the predatory media right there. Predatory media showing up to just doing our job. Just doing our job. Okay. And then these guys are not the command unit. These guys are just here for backup. What I found interesting about this is the guy who's in plain clothes in here, he's all tatted up and has big beard and everything, and he looks like he might be one of the alt-right guys. It's kind of funny, like he might have been their plant. So now he's sitting here back behind the scenes identifying people inside of the crowd is my guess. If I had to guess, that's what I would guess. So again, we're going to look for people who are wearing weapons and who are also wearing bulletproof vests. Because a lot of times in settings like this, there is somebody who's a plainclothes person that is also a cop. Alright, see this guy in the hoodie? Underneath his hoodie, he's wearing a bulletproof vest. See how it sticks out a little bit? It's a little bit heavier. So it's still just two squads. There's still just two 5-man squads, plus the plainclothes who were on the scene beforehand. And now we have the secondary plainclothes that are over there in that unmarked pickup. So there's typically another squad or two stationed somewhere. They might be over at the school, because there's a school over here. And schools have resource officer facilities, so my guess is that there's another squad or two stationed over there at the school that can quickly rush in. I love your sign. So again, you have what amounts to maybe 20 law enforcement officers on the outside. And then I would say there's maybe close to 80 alt-right people, but they have since, ooh, look, this woman's armed. She's got her taser out. That woman's got a taser out. All right. Apparently you can have a taser out, that's okay.
There's a certain kind of mace that's not allowed, but I can't remember. It's like bear mace or something that's not allowed, but I think tasers are fine. It's weird, but
That is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Especially since they put people in cardiac arrest
Yeah.
on a documented level.
Right.
Yeah.
This is fucking insane.
Pretty insane.
People gotta go to work and shit, right? God, dude. What a fucking joke. Protest.
Actually, I kind of do have to go to work. Maybe I should just go to work instead of doing this. Seems like a fair, that's a fair point. I should go to work. Seriously, there's better money in working instead of standing around here watching this.
There's no money in this.
Oh no, my channel's monetized, so. Which I appreciate you guys watching. Since my channel is monetized, then you're watching me, watching these people is actually giving me some pay. So thank you. I appreciate you for watching. You know, it only is a few pennies or whatever, a couple dollars here or there, but it adds up over time. And you know, I do have a PayPal and a Patreon, and if you do feel like throwing extra money my way for doing this type of on-the-ground reporting, obviously I'm happy to accept your support. I'll put my details in the comments and in the header, so if you're listening now and you think this is worth something, you know, feel free to send some couple dollars my way. So again, the purpose of this, the declared purpose of this, is to get attention from the people on the freeway, because when you're on the freeway, you can't escape viewing the scene that is playing out here. And you know, the organizer of this event was an alt-right person. You know, one of the extremists in the rising nation of extremism. And the organizer basically set up this scene to try and draw out people. Now, here's what's interesting about this group, okay? It's stratified a little bit, and I just noticed this. So over here you have the relatively peaceful people. These are people, they're not wearing any battle gear, they're not wearing anything to show that they're here for violence at all. They have flags, they're wearing hats. That woman has a taser, so she's obviously here for violence. But over here you have extreme violent looking people. They're wearing body armor, you know, they're definitely like geared up for a fight. They're 100% geared up for a fight. There's no two ways about it. You know, they're wearing weighted gloves. They're carrying big sticks. They're wearing battle fatigues. And you know, it's kind of intense. It's kind of intense to think about it that way. So again, what I was noticing is that on the one end over there, there's people who are more sort of peaceful looking. They're not wearing any weapons or obvious armor. They're not wearing any fatigues or military emblems. And then on the other side of the bridge, on the other end, okay, so put it this way. These guys are the heavies, right? Like this guy's a perfect example of it. He's a heavy. So this is basically like the bruisers, okay? These guys are the bruisers. And then down over here you have basically like, these are the pie eaters. So these are the nice grandmothers that make apple pie. These are like the God-fearing Christian. These people probably wouldn't hurt a fly, most of them. But then over here, these people are obviously carrying weapons, wearing body armor. You know, their posturing and body language says that they're trying to fight people. So it's just an interesting dichotomy between that side of the bridge and this side of the bridge. Like, it's obvious that this side of the bridge is where the people who want to fight are. Like, they're straight up the more militant looking people. So let's see what you guys are saying. Just going back to reading your guys' comments here. Yeah, lots of overtime pay for law enforcement, for sure. Just checking what you guys are saying. Yeah, that lady with the taser down there, she definitely is spoiling for a fight. That's why she brought a taser. She didn't just bring it, she's brandishing it. So that's different, you know. You guys want an interview, huh? Okay, let's see. That's funny, all you see is the flag. So again, on this side of the bridge, it's more militant looking alt-right people. And on the other side of the bridge, it's the less militant looking alt-right people. Yeah, I haven't been on Facebook. They put me in Facebook jail, so not on Facebook until the end of this month, and then I will be back on Facebook. I highly recommend, if you're deleting Facebook, try out Steemit. Steemit is a blockchain social media website, and I post over there on Steemit a little bit. Register Guard here. So this guy is with the Register Guard. The Register Guard is one of the major syndicated media products here in Eugene. Typically it's very biased and can't be trusted. It's basically a rag. So apparently yellow is the color for the Proud Boys. That emblem there, the gold emblem. It's for Northwest Proud Boys. So those guys with the gold emblem, they're all Northwest Proud Boys. So these guys want to be Proud Boys, but they're not quite ready to be over there with the Proud Boys. There you go. Oh, they decided, oh look, here comes another squad. So remember how I said there are only 2 squads? Here comes another squad. It's only a part of one though. They've only got 3 more people.
Walk down the street?
Yeah, I said, let's go. Let's walk down the street. Let's go. You stay there and wait.
Part of a squad, so you got 2 more. There was a 3rd down here. It looks like they cleared out a path. Okay, so this is interesting. So they were parked, a whole bunch of them in the road here, but they cleared out a path, and the reason for that is that they're going to bring in either water cannons, paddy wagons, sound cannons. They're escalating. Law enforcement's about to escalate the scene. That's why they cleared the road like that. So, you know, a minute ago, the last time I was over here, this whole road was blocked off. But now they cleared out the path. There's only 1 vehicle blocking it.
Yeah.
So I think my guess is probably sound cannons or water cannons. They're gonna escalate it somehow. And that's why they cleared out a path like that. Or maybe paddy wagon. There's a chance that it's a paddy wagon, but I don't think it's a paddy wagon. Probably armored vehicle, sound cannon, or water cannon. But it'll come from over here. In previous videos, if you go back on my channel, you can find the depot where they keep their armored vehicles. I posted a video of it before. It's over there by the butte. They have a depot with a whole bunch of assets. So, you know, they cleared that path out for a reason. And you can see they parked the vehicles on this side and that side so that they could bring something in. And my guess is it's going to be probably heavy armor. You know, law enforcement, they have to justify their budget. And the only way they justify their budget is by escalating situations like this. So they'll bring in heavy armor, water cannon, sound cannon. They'll do something to bring it up to the next level because it's not quite a high enough level of escalation like this. They'll say it's for our safety. So I witnessed 1 arrest. I believe there's only been 1 arrest so far. It's hard for me to be sure if that's reality, but I saw 1 arrest for certain, and looks like my battery's holding up just fine. Take a look at your guys' comments here again. Yeah, now's the cops' time to shine, exactly. 7 squad cars on standby on Chase and Garden. There you have it. Chase and Garden is right over there. So, oh, here comes, these guys are more high muckety mucks. I can't remember if this is the city attorney or what his designation is. There's a captain. Thanks for being here, guys. Is the scene about to escalate? No? I was a lie. So they just cleared these vehicles out of the way, and somebody on my feed said there's 7 vehicles over there that are just waiting to come in. So I'll see what.
All parked down there.
Yep. I bet the cops actually escalate before these guys or those guys. So I think that's the chief of police. I'm pretty sure that guy in the plain clothes was the chief of police. I haven't been enough of an observer in Eugene to be sure, but I think that's the chief of police. You know what? I bet the chief of police is going down there to the command station. That's what I would do. Here's KEZI News. So these guys, yeah, they're coordinating something. At some o'clock, there's going to be something happen here. Let's see what time it is. So it's almost 2. My guess is that they're coordinating something for at 2 o'clock. Otherwise, they wouldn't have checked their watches like that. So let's go down, take a look at what's going on here. So what's actually happened is the alt-right has significantly thinned out and the anti-fascists have increased in numbers. So the people who were sort of the grandmothers, the alt-right is mostly thinned out. So the grandmothers, there's a guy with a chainsaw over here, and you can see these guys over here peeing their pants right now. No, brother, it's not that way. So on this side of the bridge, it's mostly grandmothers. So you have nice grandmothers, they're kind of women and they're peaceful people. These are just nice people, they're good people. But on the other side of the bridge, it's more, well, but I mean the militants are on the other end. These ones are kind of the grandmas, like these aren't knuckle busters.
Do you realize what they're preaching now? They're
Well,
preaching
I'm not saying they aren't fascists. They're still fascists. But I mean, they're not the people who are wearing heavy gloves. If you go to the other end of the bridge, they're wearing heavy gloves for hitting people.
It's not for hitting people.
No, I mean still on the fascist side. So on this end of the bridge, it's like the grandmas. But if you go over there, it's the militants. Yeah. No. Over here. I can talk to you about a few things.
Okay, now
So
are you supporting the Antifa side?
What I'm supporting is.
Hold on, I want to go live on Facebook. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll tell you exactly what I support.
Okay, cool. So give me just a minute here. My fingers
A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't smoke. A lot of people don't smoke. But I think I've seen your feeds before.
What is your name?
My name's Tawasi. Tawasi.
Lassie, okay.
What's your name?
My name is Joe Ray.
Joe Ray. It looks like you might be a politician.
I am a candidate for Congress.
I'm sorry. That's a really dirty thing to say in some parts of the country.
That's okay. Not a problem. That's the cool thing of living in America. It's legal.
Oh yeah, you can say whatever you want to say, for sure.
You can't say whatever you want to say.
What? No, that's freedom of speech. That's how that works.
Some things you're not allowed to say, like yell fire and
Well, that's contextual speech.
Yes,
That's
yes.
contextual.
Okay. Alright, so I'm going to flip this around here. Flip it back. Welcome to Oregon, and this is Joe Ray. On the overpass in Springfield, and yes, it's very loud because we're next to the freeway. We might walk down off the freeway a little bit. This is Tawaski.
Hi, my name's Tawasi.
Tawasi, sorry, said that wrong. So, all right, so we're on, it's kind of weird here, folks. On one side, we've got American flags. On the other side, we've got Antifa, and Tawaski was just over here with a lovely lady. Would you fix my flag for me, please?
I thought about bringing my flag, but my hands are going to be too full.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it does not want to cooperate. Okay, but now you're over here. So which side are you supporting?
Well, I support the people. I don't support a side.
Okay.
Because we're a people of a country. We're
Yes.
not a side of a country.
I agree. Okay.
So I support the people. Is who I support.
Thank you.
As far as I can tell, you're people. So I probably support you.
All right, folks, we're going to come back. I got to go down. Here's my phone.
Technical difficulties. Would you like to tell my viewers about your platform?
Well, I'm a constitutionalist.
You're a constitutionalist?
Yes.
So what? That's great. I love the Constitution myself.
Yeah. So
So you?
I think the government has overstepped its bounds, and I am running on the Republican ticket.
Okay. I like to think of myself as a conservative. I'm a fiscal conservative.
Excellent.
But I'm a social liberal because I think the government should stay out of people's bedrooms. Like of all the business it should be brokering, like my bedroom is a part of it. And I'm straight, you know. I like heterosexual people myself, but I don't think the government needs to care about what people do in their bedroom. So I'm a social liberal but fiscal conservative.
I'm very conservative, and I ascribe to the Christian Judeo aspect. Simultaneously with that, we are all given free will and free choice, and
That makes a lot of sense to me.
Just ask this question.
You're having a hard go of it with that flag.
You wouldn't make these rings so good.
All right, folks, I appreciate you staying tuned in. It's hasn't escalated. Oh, they're moving the police car down there on the end of the line, so I think they're about to bring in the rest of the goons. That guy's, oh, they got their sticks out. These guys, they got their sticks out now.
We welcome you with open arms. Yeah, come on.
Things must have gotten escalated a little bit over here. They got their sticks out. It's like they want to thwack people. All right, so they just moved the one vehicle that was blocking the road. To me, that means they're about to bring in a bunch of more cops. So if I'm right, there's going to be a whole bunch of more cops that will come up from over here. Oh, look, there's the armored vehicle. They brought in the armored vehicle. I knew they were going to bring in the armored vehicle. All right, so there might be a sound cannon on it, is my guess. Probably not a water cannon. It could be a water cannon. Oh, this guy is talking about tactics. So they're about to sweep this bridge. They're going to sweep the bridge into Springfield. So I was right. The cops are going to escalate the situation. That's what this guy just said. They're about to escalate the situation. So the cops are going to come in and sweep that bridge here any minute. Probably at 2 o'clock is what. Well, it's almost 2 right now. So about any minute, I bet they come in and sweep that bridge. So we got more sheriff's officers down here. That guy's grinning like crazy. He can't wait to hit somebody with a stick. It's the steroids. Just ratchet back and you'll not want people. It's bad for law enforcement. You guys need to purge all the steroids. It's really bad for law enforcement. So especially in a scene like this. In a scene like this, it's really dangerous. So trying to not make light of the steroid use there. So here we have the commanding officers again, but they're now on this end of the bridge. That's the Eugene commanding officer. Looks like a sound cannon is what they're bringing in. So they'll probably bring in the sound cannon along with the other squads. And so the other squads will come in, they'll deploy on this end, and then they'll push everybody off the other end of the bridge. So here's the escalation that I was saying the police were going to escalate, and they did. It's a rescue vehicle. Thank God for rescue vehicles. Okay, so here they're fitting it with a sound cannon. Sound cannon. It's armor proofed. Cops are about to escalate things.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. See, look, here comes the other escalation right there. It's about to go down. These guys really have to justify their budget. Steroids are bad in a scene like this, brother. Got to get off the steroids. This is a dangerous situation with cops on steroids because these guys are all about to have sticks and justification to swing them. So, you know, when you have law enforcement on steroids, what happens is that they go out with their batons swinging and they're all juiced up. You know, they've had the metabolic steroid therapy going, and it's dangerous. It's really, really dangerous. So, you know, what's about to happen here is not good. Try and stay out of the way of it. So there's 11 of you hanging in there still watching, and I appreciate you guys tuning in to what's an unfolding situation right now. What's happening is on the bridge right here in Eugene, Springfield, the alt-right has assembled to hold a rally, and they've been met by a much larger contingency of anti-fascists, and the scene has been declared an illegal gathering. So once a scene has been declared an illegal gathering, then law enforcement can come in and mop up the scene. So typically what they'll do is they'll bring in, rubber bullets, tear gas, sound cannons, sometimes water cannons. So what these officers are doing right now is they're setting up the sound cannon. You can see it on top of that rescue vehicle. That's what the gray device is there. That's a sound cannon. So typically they'll make an announcement and say something to the effect of, "This is an illegal gathering. You must now disperse. If you do not disperse, you could be subject to arrest." And then they'll say that over the loudspeaker and start blasting people with it. So this officer here with gang tattoos, he's part of the downtown rapid response team. So he's been itching to pull out his toys for a while. And if I'm right, then that guy's on a lot of steroids, and he probably has a penis about that big. Sorry to disparage penis size, and I know body shaming is not okay, but if you mess around with steroids, it will mess with your junk size. So do not mess with steroids. If you're law enforcement watching this, do not mess with steroids. It will mess with your junk size. Yeah, I know, they're about to escalate. So this gentleman here walking by is a local organizer. I appreciate you. Red?
Yes,
Tawasi.
I know. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Yeah, see you strong.
Yeah, they have a sick gun right up there. It's a great box.
Yeah, so local homeless organizer Red, he has doubtless been arrested by these very rescuees. You can see it's rescue vehicle. About their rescue vehicle. They're about to rescue people, I guess. It's funny how the one people, when they're rescuing people, they wear the one costume, but the other people, when they're rescuing people, they wear guns. All right, here comes some more of the escalation team. So again, for the people who just tuned in, my anticipation is that they're bringing together a couple of squads on this end, and they're going to use this heavy vehicle, armored vehicle, along with a sound cannon, and they'll go down and push the people into Springfield. So, I'm tempted to go back over there, but probably the word is pretty well spread. Those guys have been eating a lot of donuts. It takes some serious donuts to put on that much weight. I regularly tag the Eugene Police Department in my Facebook posts. If you go back and look, the Eugene Police Department has a reputation for rapists. They protect rapists, and they hide rapists in their ranks, and they support rapists. And even the women officers are well known to protect rapists. So it's kind of crazy that goes on. But putting on the Grote gloves, that means he wants to get friendly. He does. He wants to get friendly. All right, so law enforcement, they're putting on their gear. They're getting ready to come down here and sweep this bridge. This guy, he's echelon. He doesn't have to put on the gear. He just stands by and orders other people to go in and smack people. Not sure whether he's National Guard or Army, but typically the way this works is you have Army, National Guard, Sheriff's Department, and then you might have FBI, ATF, but this guy, he's probably from the Titan Fusion Center or one of the fusion centers, but he's not gonna have to get his hands dirty. The rest of these guys might end up swinging sticks, but this guy be able to go right back to donut munching. So not sure what kind of spook he is, but he's definitely a spook. Public servant. So again, what's happening here is we have the anti-fascists on one side of the bridge, and on the other side of the bridge we have the fascists. So the anti-fascists are basically here standing for, immigrants, people who might be marginalized because of their religion, their ethnicity, their sexual orientation. And then you have the people who are protecting, they're protecting those people. So the long and short of it is that the Trump side has really diminished. A lot of people have left. This bridge was much more full before. It's really emptied out. A lot of the families have left. And now the fascists far outnumber the anti-fascists. So you can see it's a developing situation. And really like I said, what's about to happen is, oh look, these are the Northwest Proud Boys. Those are the Northwest Proud Boys right there. All right, I just want to make sure I'm on this end of the bridge when the goon squad comes down. So because I don't want to get hit with a stick. Nobody likes to get hit with a stick. Oh, here comes another vehicle, another law enforcement vehicle. So like I said, they're building up over here, and they're gonna come down and sweep these people all into Springfield. Just gonna look at your comments here for a minute. If you guys have been talking, I don't know. "6 miles in sound, that's amazing." Don't be in front of it when it goes off. I believe you, brother. I do not want to be in front of that. I've gotten hit by a sound cannon before. Yes, that sound cannon could kill a person with a heart murmur. You are correct. Yes, you could be deafened, permanent hearing damage, 100%. She is a fascist. Aha. They gotta justify their budget. They do 100% gotta justify their budget. All right, folks, I do appreciate you tuning in, taking the time to share this out. If you have been, there were just 11 people a few minutes ago. Now we're up to 21 people. And, you know, it's about to go down is the long and short of it. Down here on this end, we have law enforcement amassing. They have a sound cannon that they just set up. This is where the one commanding officer is that I think he might be from the Fusion Center. And I did hear him saying that they're gonna sweep everybody out. So, plus they have the sound cannon down here. So what's happening is, for the most part, the young people and the women have moved out of the scene on the fascist right side. Most of them have left. And the anti-fascists, their numbers have been growing little by little. They might have peaked and gone down a little bit. It's hard to say exactly, but there's a bunch of anti-fascists compared to only a few fascists, which it's Eugene. So for a while there, and I think even now, the citizens outnumbered police by maybe 5 to 1. But again, law enforcement, they carry a big stick, so they're okay with hitting people with a stick. And these guys are getting their body armor on. It looks like they're turning around foot traffic now. So it's a good thing I didn't go all the way down there. Otherwise, I'd be like that young lady that she just got denied entrance. So I don't want to go too far this way because I'll get hit with that sound cannon, but I don't want to go too far that way because they'll lock me out. So again, there's a sound cannon, and they're about to bring in a whole bunch more stormtroopers. And then what they'll do is they'll flush all of the protests out into Springfield. So here on the bridge, on the north side of the bridge, there are anti-fascists. Oh, there goes one of the plainclothes, I think. Yeah. Yeah, plainclothes. So on the north side of the bridge, we have the anti-fascists, and then on the south side of the bridge are the fascists. And then amassing over here, we have law enforcement. I think it's mostly Eugene Police Department. It's hard to say. There's sheriff's office here, and I think on the other side of the bridge, it's almost all Springfield. So it might have created a jurisdiction challenge, but I bet they have authorization to deal with situations like this. My guess is that whatever, the captains decided that it would be Eugene who deployed. So we have the Eugene Goon Squad. If you go along and look at the back patches of the shock troops. All the back patches are Eugene back patches. So this is a Eugene riot squad, which means that there's a whole other riot squad of Springfield. And whether that riot squad is in Springfield or whether they're waiting over there on Chase, it's hard to say. Another plainclothes.
Are you broadcasting? What's the handle? Where can we find it?
On YouTube. My handle is Tawasi Sos.
Tawasi Sos.
If you search Tawasi, there's not a lot of Tawasis out there.
Okay, how do you spell that?
Tawasi. So you have these guys down here basically are like the thug guys that they'll be following commands. And then these guys here, these are the actual brains. So like these are the people who are thinking everything through and deciding things. They're the they're the people, they won't have to get their hands dirty. And again, if you look, I hate to generalize like this, but if you look at their body types, it kind of looks like they might be on steroids. I mean, I hate to generalize like that, but it looks like those guys might be on steroids. So here's another plainclothes. He doesn't quite look, he almost looks like it. But see how broad their shoulders are like that? And their stance. These guys, it's because it's not illegal. You know, they're allowed to use the steroids. It's just bad it's bad. It's just bad. So they brought in another armored vehicle down here. And you can see they've got a couple more squads that are forming up. So there were 2 squads. They brought in a 3rd squad. So there's probably 15 riot police that are currently on the bridge. And then it looks like maybe 2 or 3 more squads. So those guys are, the sheriff's department has their own squad, and then they're all just bringing each of their own squads. They practice this stuff out in the field like maybe a couple times a month, and they go in with their sticks, and one side pretends to be the protesters and the other side pretends to be the cops, except they actually are the cops, and they go in and then they push back, and they do the different. Here, I'll turn the camera around here. So they do the different practices. One of them is like this. You go move like that, move with the swing. But the other one's like this. You go move, and that's the much more dangerous one. When they go move like that and spear forward, you don't want to be in front of that. If they're doing a big swinging move like that, it's not as bad. You can take a couple of those. But I've seen people who get hit with the thrusting move, and that will destroy you. You don't want to get hit with that. So got another part of a squad showing up. These guys' batons are, they got the shin guards. They didn't go with the arm guards though. Went without the forearm guards, but went with the shin guards. They had a little bit more time to gear up than the other guys, so they went with the shin guards. And the heavy boots. It's hard to say what department they are. Those guys, they arrived in Springfield Police Department. So those guys are Springfield. Those guys are Springfield Police Department in the green jumpers. So the green jumpers are Springfield Police Department. The Sheriff's Department, they're wearing olive brown shirts. And then Eugene Police Department, they're all black. And so far, I don't know if there's National Guard. There's probably National Guard or FBI. It's hard to say. Might be both National Guard and FBI. But typically, you know, this will be a joint task force scene, so they'll be putting it through the Titan Fusion Center. And wow, look at that. The alt-right has really cleared out. The alt-right has moved way down the bridge. They are almost all the way to the other side of the bridge. So it looks like it's emptying out. You know, it really looks like it's emptying out. There were quite a few people, and now there's only very few people. And if you look at this, if you look at it, law enforcement hasn't quite kept pace with the alt-right. The alt-right's clearing out. They're leaving. You know about that? So just a few minutes ago, this whole bridge was covered with people. Oh look, here comes the stormtroopers. All right. See right there, that's the LRAD device, also known as the long-range acoustic device. And they'll end up turning that on people if they don't clear out. It looks like the people are clearing out though. So these are the reinforcements for if the first squads don't actually clear them out. The way it works is that these guys push. If these guys, these guys push. If these guys can't clear everybody out, or someone gets knocked down or they get tired, then you have a second tier of people that they come in and support them. So if someone gets knocked down or hit with a bottle or something, then the second tier of people reinforces them and they can fall back to a high ground or a safer ground. So looks like the live streamers are getting pushed back a little bit from the front line here. I definitely considered being over there on the side where the protesters are for a second there, because that's where a lot of people get hit with sticks. I have been on the wrong side of that sound cannon before, not that particular one, but a sound cannon, and you do not want to be on the wrong side of it. It can mess with your heart rate, it can mess with your hearing, it can do long-term damage to your hearing. So you really don't want to be on the wrong side of a sound cannon. There's no two ways about it. Here comes the corporate media trying to get the scoop off of the cops. Over there talking to them, see if she can scoop it. I'm not really big into interviews, guys. I'm sorry about that. If you're hoping for an interview, I don't really chase down those interviews. Just taking a look at your guys' status here. See what you're saying. Oh, interesting. Only the governor can call out the National Guard. Well, I think you're probably right about that. That makes sense. I don't think it is the National Guard. You're probably right. I know that in situations where the fusion center is engaged, then when the fusion center is engaged, it changes things. All right, it looks like the protests actually broke up over there. The alt-right cleared out. and the anti-fascists cleared out. And here comes the county. So there is some jurisdictional stuff going on. That's kind of interesting. So there goes Eugene pushing forward. They're being escorted by a Springfield officer. That's the guy in the white helmet. And then here comes the county to establish jurisdiction, I guess. So they just cleared the bridge. Nobody had to swing any sticks. There were no shots fired. Water cannons weren't used. There was no use of sound cannons. As far as I know, there was only one arrest. That's Springfield Police Department. Not super exciting, guys. Yeah, I don't know whether they're mad or glad. I think a lot of times they don't actually want to hit somebody with a stick. I mean, some of them do, but I think most of them probably don't. I don't want to hit somebody with a stick. So the anti-fascists are clearing out, the fascists are clearing out, and all that's left are the policy enforcement officers. Little jurisdiction thing going on there. Not 100%, but I believe the sheriff just came up and declared that the scene is clear of rioters. And now that the sheriff declared it clear of rioters, he's leaving. And then look, here come the rest of the donut munchers. They're leaving too. So again, you'll notice that they forewent the shin guards, and they also went without the elbow guards and the knee guards. They just have a great one, man. These guys are just going to run through, and it's a good day. It's a good day for the donut munchers. It's a good day for the donut munchers. You know, they didn't have to hit anybody with a stick. They didn't have to shoot any tear gas or anything. They just brought a show of force, and that was sufficient, I think. You can see a bunch of the Patriot Prayer people are leaving over there in the mall parking lot. I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but guys, I think I'm going to wind it up here. Patriot Prayer people are leaving. The anti-fascists are leaving. All that's left is a heavy law enforcement presence. Smells like steroids and lube. Comes the Eugene commanding officer. That's the Eugene commanding officer with their phone down there, just kind of kicking it. Maybe texting with somebody, it's hard to say. Well, they're moving the support vehicle up for the squad. So that's what you stand on the side of when you're coming to a scene like this. Going to take a last look at what you guys are saying, and then I'm going to let you go because it seems like everything's winding down and not super interesting. That is the Gateway Mall, not the Valley River Mall. Yes, the good cops get fired. I absolutely do not want to hit anybody with a stick or anything. Actually, I don't want to hit people. Yeah, donut munchers. It's a hard job, but somebody's got to do it. We got a lot of donut shops around Eugene. They can hit each other. They try to not hit each other. They did put their hands on a little bit. They arrested one person, but that was it. There was no need for batons and guns and tear gas and everything. It's pretty non-violent. There was only one arrest that I saw. Looks like the cops got themselves a nice little hybrid. That's kind of cool. I wish I had a Toyota hybrid. All right, guys, I'm gonna let you go. I hope you have a great rest of your day out there. Thanks for taking the time to tune in. If anything changes, I'll come back on. In the meanwhile, have a great rest of your day.